welcome to Wellbeing on Spectrum Television, a program structured to encourage a healthy living. I am William Serial. Do well to follow us on all our socials at SpectrumTv NG or visit our website at SpectrumTv.ng. Don't forget that well-being is very important to you and your health, both psychologically, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And that's why it's always an exciting moment of health talk right here on the show. Today, we will be talking about a very important topic, which is eye care. Now, tell me, what percentage you would give your dear self concerning your eye care? After doing that, sit tight and enjoy the show to know if you actually deserve the accolades you gave yourself before the show. Let's go on a short break, and when we return, we will dive right into the topic of the day. Please stick around. Welcome back, and in case you're just joining us, this is Wellbeing on Spectrum Television, reaching you from the beautiful hills of Ibiakoran. Before the break, we had just introduced the topic of the day, which was eye care. It might interest you to know that majority of us do not know the do's and the don'ts of the eye care, which is why today's show will do justice by exposing you to a very proper daily eyes management. Interesting, right? All right. Basically, primary eye care is the provision of appropriate, accessible, and affordable care that meets patients' eye needs in a comprehensive and competent manner. Primary eye care provides patients with the first contact for eye care as well as a lifetime of continuing care. That means primary eye care services are integrated to meet the needs of patients from a single source, so patients receive quality and efficient eye care that is coordinated with general health care services. That means competent expert management and decision making are critical in promoting the quality and efficiency of primary eye care. When you visit an eye clinic, they will tell you about some basic primary eye care services, which include, first they will educate patients, that is you, about maintaining and promoting healthy vision, and also performing a comprehensive examination of the visual system to be sure, and then screening for eye diseases and conditions affecting vision that may be asymptomatic, and that's because some eye defects can come with no symptoms at all, so you need to go for checkup. Also, recognizing ocular manifestations of systematic diseases and systematic effects of ocular medications, making a differential diagnosis and definitive diagnosis for any detected abnormalities, and also performing refractions. And refractions is the bending of light rays as they pass through one object to the other. So the corner and lens bend, that's the refract light rays to focus them on the retina. When the shape of the eye changes, it also changes the way the light rays bend and focus, and that can cause blurry vision. So it's like knowing the iris of the eyes are, like a specified color, like brown, like blue, like green, or hazel eyes. And also, it could be fitting a prescribing optical aids such as, glasses and contact lenses, and then deciding on a treatment plan and treating patients' eye care needs with appropriate therapies. Now, counseling and educating patients about their eye diseases conditions are still part of the things that will happen when you go for your eye checkup. And they will also do something like recognizing and managing local and systematic effect of drug therapy, and also determining when the triage patients for more specialized care and referring to specialists as needed and appropriate, and also they will do something like coordinating care with other physicians involved in the patient's overall medical management. And also they are going to be performing surgery when necessary. So you see the reason we keep reminding you about the importance of going for your regular hospital checkup. It is so important. We cannot overemphasize the importance of going to the hospital to check yourself up, check your eye, check everything that has to do with your health. You don't want to joke with yourself, right? All right, let's go ahead. But then again, let me tell you something. If you are lucky, like you're a lucky person that has a perfect vision, you may not think much about visiting an eye doctor. But the truth is that everyone can benefit from seeing an eye doctor. Every single person can benefit. Some hospitals, they provide free eye checkups. You might want to identify with any of those around you, or health centers, and then you just go for an eye checkup. Some of them are free. You just get to know what the problem is. So why do waiting till you start having blurry vision? I don't think it is healthy that you wait until you start having blurry vision, or you make excuses that I am very young and active, so I do not need to go for an eye check. I advise you go for a checkup today. As a matter of fact, vision loss is the 9th most common disability in the United States. Can you beat that? So it can happen as a result of disease or an injury, and it can happen to anyone at any time. So do not feel unlucky or tied to some spiritual problems that you have eye issues or eye defect, and you feel unlucky. I do not want to go for checkup. Do you understand? It could just happen to anyone or anytime. That's why you have to be careful. But you get to find out what to do as we proceed on the show. And then in some cases, regular eye exams can help prevent vision loss before it begins to affect your quality of life. The eyes is very, very important. Even if you have perfect vision, you could get checked out regularly to prevent problems before they even start. Amazing, right? You're still not convinced? Now, check out these reasons, why eye examination is so important. I want to tell you, the reasons why eye examinations are very important, and why you should go for an eye examination, and why it is very, very, very pertinent for you to do so. Number one, you might just want to grab a pen and paper to write this side down, right? So the first thing is up-to-date prescriptions. If you need prescription, eyewear to see well, you should absolutely see an eye doctor yearly or twice a year. Your prescription may change slightly over time, and you will need a new one to achieve good vision results. You got that right? Secondly, early detection of eye diseases. Even if you don't use prescription eyewear, spectacles, lenses, yearly eye exams are still important. So you don't need to wait until your eyes get blurry. Eye disease can creep up on you with little warning. So you look out for those little warnings. Could be itching of the eyes every other time you have eye irritation, or maybe nothing, but just go for checkup. In fact, in many cases, by the time your vision is affected, the disease is already very advanced. I told you before that some patients, they are symptomatic most of the effects, so you don't get to have symptoms. That's why you need to go for checkup, and there may be very little your doctor can do at that point to save your vision. I hope these tips were useful, but in case you're not convinced, Enough. Guess what? We had a special interview section with an optometrist in the person of Dr. Samuel on how to care for your eyes and the possible medical prescription on visual casualties. But, we will have to take a very short break, and then when we return, we will get to hear what these doctors have to say about eye care. After which, I'll give you our health tips for the week. Please don't go away. We'll be right back.
So, like the word implies, eye care. Eye care simply means anything you have to do to take proper care of your eyes. The most common signs of visual defect include not being able to see things at far, not being able to read properly, not being able to follow up objects the way you're meant to. These are some of the signs of visual defect. Causes of all these could be from the development of the eye, how the eyeball was actually developed. It could be as a result of trauma. A lot of things could cause visual defects. Yeah. And also, we also have some common visual defects ranging from refractive errors. Refractive errors include somebody being short-sighted, long-sighted, astigmatic. We call them refractive errors. Then we also have what we call cataracts. We also have glaucoma. We also have age-related macular degeneration. And finally, on that list, we have what we call hypertensive or diabetic retinopathy. Retinopathy means issues that have to do with the back of the eye in people who are diabetic or hypertensive. So these are the most common visual defects we have in Nigeria. Well, I would say there should be a particular point you should see a doctor. I think that is one of the problems we are having. I think having a routine eye check should be a regular thing. People should take proper care of their eye. You should have an eye check as frequent as possible. For me, that's my take on that. There shouldn't be a specific time. You mustn't have an eye challenge before you go to an eye clinic. It should be something that we should be doing regularly. Well, glasses and contact lenses, they're actually the same thing, but I'll start by saying the little difference there is that the cosmetic appearance, that's the striking difference between lenses and contact lenses, glasses and contact lenses, the cosmetic appearance. Now, before people who use glasses and contact lenses, before you use either of the two, you would either be somebody that is myopic or hyperopic or astigmatic before you could use a lens prescription, a contact lens prescription. Now, choosing which one to use depends on the patient. It depends on the patient because before anybody at all can use a lens, but before you use a contact lens, there are some tests that needs to be done. I could actually not make a good contact lens wearer. There are some tests that need to be done before somebody will be approved to use a contact lens. This test, they have to test the tear quality. There's something called tear. The eyes produce tears. The eyes are moist to an extent. So they will test the tear quality and also the tear quantity. So when they run all these tests, all these two basic tests, and they actually the person can actually go ahead with the contact lens. But when this test is done and it is found out that the person's or the patient's tear quantity is not enough, contact lens will not be approved for that patient. But any other person can actually use a spectacle lens. But contact lens, you have to make a good contact lens wearer before you be approved to use contact lenses. So even if you don't have any problem with your eye, you could go ahead and get the lens as a protective eyewear, in the sense that there are some people that are constant screen users. They're always on the screen. You and I know there are harmful rays that emanate from your gadgets, and not just the gadgets, to the sun. So you could actually get your spectacle lens, not because you have an eye defect, but because you want to protect your eye from harmful rays from the sun and the blue rays too. Anybody can use a spectacle lens, but contact lenses, they are selective. Before somebody will use contact lens, the person has to undergo the two different tests I talked about, testing the patient's tear quantity and the patient's tear quality before the person can be approved to use contact lenses. Even though recently anybody can buy the cosmetic contact lens and put on, but in a normal clinic setting, these two basic tests, they have to be done before the patient can go ahead with it. Cosmetic appearance, in the sense that, okay, for instance, let's say somebody is short-sighted. I know you must have seen people wearing lenses, or wearing spectacle lenses, and you see they are very thick. Good. Some people don't actually like that. It could be converted into a contact lens, and of course, it will just stay on the eyes. So in that case, it is more appearable. The appearance is preferable as a contact lens instead of using a spectacle lens. That's what I mean by cosmetic. Of course, if it has management, just like as you get your contact lens, it has a solution. You actually, after putting on the contact lens for a while, you have to bring it out and disinfect it with the solution. So a situation whereby you don't manage it very well, it could cause infection of the eyes. Yes. I wouldn't say wearing a lens over a particular period of time will correct the eye defect. It all has to do with the patient's problem. Now, for kids, you know, at a tender age, the eyeball they are not yet developed very well. They are not yet developed. So, using lenses at that stage, after a while, the patient's eye condition can actually get corrected because the eyeball, they are not yet developed very well. So, as the kid is growing up, the eyeball is still developing. So, at some point, the patient might do away with the lenses. Okay. At that point, you said the error has been corrected. But in adults, I can't really say that lenses correct the errors in the eye. I prefer using the word compensate for the error in the eye. Compensate in the sense that if you're having a refractive error, that is you're short-sighted or myopic, or you're long-sighted or hyperopic, or you have astigmatism, when you put on your lenses, you see better. The lens is compensating for the error. When you put it on, you see better. Light rays will strike your eye properly and you see very well. But when you take it off, the error is still there. So would you say the error has been corrected? No. So I prefer using the word compensate instead of using the word correct. So lenses compensate for the error in your eyes. Constant eye irritation could be as a lot of things. Allergy, probably. And some people are allergic to a lot of things. Some people are allergic to cold weather. Some people are allergic to dusty environments. So it's important the patient having this irritation to actually take time to find out the main cause of that irritation, and that should be the solution. If you notice you're allergic to a dusty environment, whenever you expose yourself to a dusty environment, your eyes will start itching you in turn. The solution is getting or staying away from dusty environment. Just staying away from that particular thing that irritates your eye, which could be dust, it could be anything. I would like to talk about routine eye check, in the sense that there is a condition called glaucoma. I'm sure you must have heard about it. Glaucoma simply means blindness as a result of increased eye pressure. Now, the way we have blood pressure, body pressure, the eye has its own pressure too. And it's important we always check our eye. Now, when the pressure of the eye is high and you don't know, it will actually damage the eyes. There is a nerve that connects the eyeball with the brain. We call it the optic nerve. Now, when the pressure of the eye is high and you don't know, it will actually damage that nerve. So as light rays are entering we are seeing today because of the light rays entering your eye. Now, that's the way we see. Now, so if the pressure of the eye is high and you don't actually know, it will damage the optic nerve, like I said. So as light rays are entering your eye, they pass through, they send information, they will strike your eye, the back of the eye called the retina. Information or impulses will move from the nerve, the optic nerve, to the brain. And this information, they are interpreted in the brain. That's the way we see. But when the pressure of the eye is high and you don't actually know, it will be damaging the optic nerve. Now, light rays will be striking your eye, but information or impulses cannot get to the brain again. That's a summary of glaucoma. At that point, the patient's eyes are open, but they're not seeing anything. So I would say it's important people should actually form the habit of having a routine eye check. It's very important. I know in this part of the world they don't really value it until something strikes. You see them coming, but people should try and cultivate the habit of having a routine eye check frequently. Another thing about glaucoma is that whatever vision that is lost in glaucoma, it's irreversible. So, if the patient walks into the clinic and it's detected early enough, the condition can be managed. So whatever vision the patient is having at that time, it can be managed and the person can maintain it for life. Do you understand? That's the management. The management is taking proper care of the pressure, the eye pressure. If the eye pressure remains on a normal level, there will be no further damages to the vision, the patient's vision. But if you don't take proper care of the patient's pressure and it keeps going on high and high and high, it will keep damaging the patient's vision. So the solution to glaucoma is management. It's just management, because whatever vision that is lost, depending on when the patient comes into the clinic, whatever vision that is lost is not reversible. You can't get it back again. Okay. It's irreversible, yes. So the management is making sure that the eye pressure is within the normal range. At a point, if a patient enters a clinic and the person is diagnosed of glaucoma, the first point of action is giving medications and eye drops to lower the pressure. So the person has to stay on medications for life. Do you understand? To maintain the pressure on a normal level. Now, in a situation whereby the medications are not actually working very well, you keep taking these medication tablets and eye drops, they are not actually bringing down the eye pressure to normal, the patient can actually go for a surgery. A surgery in the sense that now there is a liquid in the eye. It is produced in the eye and it drains in the eye too. So a situation whereby the level of production doesn't equal the drainage, it will build up pressure in the eye. That is how the glaucoma starts. Now the patient will go for the surgery. They call it drainage. There's a surgery that is done to actually take care of the drainage, so that the aqueous, we call it the liquid in the eye, is called aqueous humor, so that the aqueous will drain properly. So when the drainage is taken care of, the pressure will be taken care of too. So the surgery in which glaucoma patients undergo is just to take care of the eye pressure. If the medications are not taking care of it, the patient will be recommended for surgery for the eye pressure to be reduced. That's just it. I know we have a lot of Christians and Muslims that, of course, we believe in God, but there are some conditions God cannot take care of. For instance, you're having a migraine, you're having serious headache, and maybe as a result of stress or something. Now, instead of you taking an analgesic or having a proper rest for the migraine to go off, you prefer praying. If you pray from now till tomorrow, the migraine will still be there if you don't rest or take medication. So there are some conditions in the eye that you don't need God to take care of. You have to take care of yourself. No matter how you pray, no matter how you believe in God, you have to take the necessary steps to take care of it. So I'm not against believing in God. Of course, we always believe in God, but it's important you take care of your eyes. The advice I will give to the general public is that please always go for an eye check. It's very important. It's very paramount. It's very important to have a routine eye check at least twice in a year. At least twice in a year. That's my advice to the general public.
It feels good to know you are still watching the show, and I hope you had an educational time with Dr. Samuel, because I did. Quickly, before I give you a health tip for the week, I would love us to make some healthy declaration. Yes, this is going to come more often. We need to be very intentional about our health. by simply putting your right hand on your chest and then your left, the other one, on the air, and say after me, I affirm that I will always take precautionary measures to any practice that is unhealthy. I hope you said that right. All right, finally, before we go, I'll give you our health tips. And our health tip for the week is avoid rubbing your hands in your eyes. You heard what the doctor had to say about, frequent touching of your eyes. So avoid touching your eyes always, because your hands are usually exposed to a lot of dirt and a lot of dust. So to keep your eyes healthy, make sure you avoid touching your eyes regularly, and make sure you bring up measures. If you cannot help yourself, practically bring up measures that will help you prevent your hands from getting into your eyes. All right, I hope this was useful. This is where we will stop today. It's how much we can take today on well-being. I am Ohime Serial. Do well to follow us on all our socials at Spectrum TV NG. Till I see you next time, it's a goodbye.